An indie band? Indie bands exposing the Grail War? Oh shit, of course they are. I was like, that doesn't make sense. How would an indie band expose a Grail War? Yep, never mind. There actually was a way for that to make sense. Is he actually just gonna use a stick, though, for his sword? Please tell me that's what he does. That'd be insane work. Now, sometimes you see things, and you think they're overcompensating. Not here. Bro's as big as he feels right now. But keep in mind, too, he was able to accomplish that amount with just a tree branch. If you give him an actual fucking sword, that would have been Rip Bozo, in theory. So basically, she doesn't trust herself enough not to betray someone who's nice to her out of self-preservation. What are they, Russia? Russia and Ukraine hospital. You know, as painful as all the random gaps in delays were, like getting an episode a year for like a couple years, I think the wait was absolutely worth it. I mean, so far— oh my god! So far, no dips. Just fists to the face. In a Fate anime with old Gilgamesh, surely Gil would never be topped in sort of cool aura factors. But I am honestly gonna say, Gil can step aside for the time being, because Richard is also him. Jesus Christ, first Herc now. It's too many cool characters, bruh. So what we learned this week is that, I guess we could say his noble phantasm isn't a specific object, because of course, #1 fanboy of King Arthur is not going to actually have Excalibur. But anything he wields is essentially his Excalibur. It's a fake, it's a replica, it will always be. But if he's able to cause a goddamn nuke to go off with a stick, give him an actual sword, that blade wasn't getting stopped. That's fucking cool no matter how you spin it. This is the coolest fucking Fate. Need I say more? Now, of course, you know what to do. You got this far in the video. You slap that like, share, support, subscribe, ring that bell if you haven't already, and Patrons where you catch those full uncut live reactions in all their glory. Also does help fund the channel and videos just like these. I'm telling you, seeing this scene and knowing the only reason this didn't cut through completely is because it was a goddamn stick, which, hey, in any other show, well, of course, a stick's not gonna cut through. It's kind of cool that it cut a little bit. But it's like, yeah, you show this scene out of context to someone not watching this Fate anime, and they're gonna not understand, no, actually, bro is out here launching nukes. Like, the whole fucking sky pierced the heavens. I thought I was watching Gurren Lagann for a second. It was beautiful. And I think the biggest praise I can give this episode is that it made me care for the characters that were probably the lowest on my list or close to it. Now, I really gotta expand this before you give me all your hate comments. There isn't a single character in this show so far that I find boring or mid. Base level good, if not borderline great. The thing is when you have a show with Gilgamesh, Hercules, so many really cool characters, what normally would be enjoyable characters for me and would be like the main star attraction are just seen as good at the beginning, because it takes a little bit. Now, Richard was a fun character from the beginning. I liked his personality, but his master was, you know, boring in comparison to others. Now, you gotta hear me out here. I've never thought she's been a bad character, but unfortunately, half the anime community, and I think 90% of the internet as a whole, needs hearing aids, because no matter how much you say, yeah, I like the color blue, they'll still say, why do you hate the color green? In comparison, I found her to be a less interesting version than some of the other masters. But she's normal, and I think she served a purpose. She was a pretty normal girl thrown into a bullshit situation. This episode, however, you got to see her psyche. You got to see Little Miss Red Riding Hood and the abuse, and I'm like, okay, things are starting to click why she thinks I don't deserve to be protected. Focus on yourself. There's a really interesting story, and we went from a character who was on the bottom of my list to probably the top half of my list very, very effortlessly. Richard just became more funny because, I mean, initially when they're talking about how an indie band exposed the Holy Grail War, I thought to myself, surely that, I was like, wait, yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense. I mean, it's just, no matter how you spin it, that's just comedy fucking gold. I do love the fact, though, that immediately after establishing a partnership, kind of an alliance, hey, until a few threats are dealt with, us three, we ain't gonna fuck around, we ain't gonna find out. And honestly, Richard nearly made girls say, fuck you. I forgot how the last episode ended. I watched so much fucking anime, forgive me. So I forgot the fact that he stopped her from attacking Buddy at the end of last episode. So it's even funnier with the context knowing that this literally happened shortly after. We will work together. We'll do what everyone wants to do. It's just, I mean, you gotta love it, man. A cast like this does not come around often. I think fake casts are always good, but there's very, like, I feel like an average fake cast is like maybe 1 or 2 super extreme personalities, handful of fairly normal ones believe in their cause, and maybe 1 psychotic derpy or, you know, something like that, where this is just like everyone's fucking aura farming, and then you have a handful of like kind of serious characters, and they're just kind of like playing the straight man in a way, being like, what the fuck am I dealing with? A show with Gilgamesh, as happy as Gilgamesh is in this, uncorrupted by mud, happy that best friend's there, that should be untoppable. And then you get Herc casually withstanding 3 command seals, and, you know, had it not been the mud on top of that, would have withstood 3 command seals. And then you have a bro using a fucking stick as a goddamn nuclear Excalibur. What the fuck? I also love how Buddy has to essentially convince, hey, maybe we don't bomb a hospital. We're not like certain governments in the world. Wow. This was an exciting episode. It's honestly hard to say what's been the best though, because last week's Herc still blows my mind. But I think I appreciate this episode more. Mainly because I think the implications of someone not actually having an object as an item, but rather the energy of the thought of the item and being able to seemingly use that with anything, and the stronger the item, the stronger it will be. But the fact that base level, a piece of trash, because that's what we're going to label this, the twig, was able to do that, is absolutely, like, I'm thinking about it. You give him a decent sword and you launch that attack on Gilgamesh. There's a lot of ways Gilgamesh could survive it, but there's also a lot of ways Gil would die. The concepts of fakes and reals, servants, is so fucking cool, and I just can't wait to see how this continues to evolve. Based on the pacing, based on the fact that we'll probably reach the midpoint of the novels, from my understanding. The second half of the novels are apparently much denser in length. Still a couple to release. Based on what I'm hearing, probably 2 cores worth left to adapt, all in all. I do think we will get an immediate confirmation of a second season. Based on pacing, they're not rushing to anything. They're not just here to do a little teaser, right? So I think we're in good hands. It will take a bit. I'm sure the second season will come 2 or 3 years from now. Let's be real. But fucking phenomenal, man. You can let me know your thoughts. A tree branch was a nuke. You ain't seeing that in any other show, let's be real. But thoughts down below, drop a like, share your support, subscribe, ring that bell, and Patreon. Full live reactions and exclusives like, hey, I love to give video shoutouts to my patrons because they make these videos possible. So today we got Ross Lingard, Anime X, DL Pulver, X Casifortis, Just Miku Simp, Papa Golf Whiskey, Reunion K, and we also have Pancakes28. So I appreciate the support. Please take care and you all have a good one.